Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and joining us for Words from a Black Woman Experience. I am Cherlnell Lane. I am bearing my soul to heal yours. And you are at the right place at the right time to hear words from a Black woman's experience. We are going to give people 2 minutes to come in, and we are going to share this throughout our channels. So if you're joining us, take this time to share as well. And we're going to start the show in just 2 minutes. I am so glad that you all came to join us today. I am ecstatic. I cannot wait for you all to experience this show and to hear on this beautiful topic that we have going on today. And I have a lovely and special treat for you all. I am so excited for you all to hear it and experience it. It is gonna be so awesome. Yes, I know. I'm silly. It's okay. Because that's who I am. Okay, everyone. I believe that's been 2 minutes. And if it hasn't been 2 minutes, we're all done. So, yeah. I hope you all had the chance to share as well. Remember, for those of you watching, please leave comments. Please ask questions. Please say, oh my God, them red glasses is giving me all kinds of life. Anything, that you might have to add, I and my guests would love to hear them. And you all make the conversation lively. Your interaction gives us a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to cater more to you guys, which are the audience. Now, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about Words from a Black Woman's Experience in case you all didn't know, but I'm sure you do before the newcomers. Words from a Black Woman's Experience was created to highlight Black women's stories. I have created a space where Black women can be themselves boldly and unapologetically. We talk about connections, the lessons they've learned, and their message to the audience. I feel that words are one of the most powerful tools on earth, whether written, spoken, signed, sung, read, or performed. And these are words from a Black woman's experience. In this episode, oh, what? Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I almost forgot. In this episode, we'll have a special guest host. That is right. I will not be hosting this episode. I know, it's shocker, right? But I would like to bring on one of the most special people in my life. She is an awesome, awesome educator, historian. She is an awesome actor, director, producer. She is the creator and owner of Melanated in America and the co-founder and co-creator of the Healing Academy. She is my understudy. She is all the things that are wonderful. She is my little sister, Miss Natalie Battles. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am fantastic.
Yes,
I am so
fantastic.
excited to have you with us today.
I'm excited to be here and to interview, the great Cherlnell Lane. Okay.
Now you
And
let the cat out of the bag.
oh,
Yeah,
oh,
because
oh,
I hadn't told them yet
they're gonna learn today. Okay.
who the interviewee was. I was gonna say, for those of you all who know, Miss Natalie Battles has been a guest on my show, and no, we are not bringing her back as a guest, but a guest host, and that will be because Miss Natalie B.
Yes, I shall be interviewing you, Miss Cherlnell Lane. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
goodness, how the
It's that
tables have
tea.
turned.
Get your tea. Get it ready. Okay, we're gonna come with all the light today. I hope you all are prepared. Okay. So I'm gonna take over from here.
Go right ahead, my
We
dear.
switched the roles, okay, changing places here today. So Cherlnell, you are now the guest on your show. And I am
Why,
now
thank
the interviewer. Okay. So
you.
hello
Ooh.
everyone. I'm super excited to be here interviewing the Cherlnell Lane. You all know her so well. So I'm not even going to go into the long introduction. For those of you who do not know, who may be new to the channel and not aware of Cherlnell Lane's greatness, as she stated before, on the purpose of why this show is important and what she believes in, she is a woman of her word and her words, okay, in all the forms that she speaks them, if she's writing them down, if she's publishing them in a book, if she's performing on a stage. She's a beautiful spirit, and you're going to hear from her today. So my first question to you, Cherlnell Lane, is what is the title of this show?
The title of this show, and I'm sorry for not mentioning it earlier, I usually do, is Protected by My Purpose.
Hold on now.
That's a
I
word.
know.
I know,
That's the
right?
word. Hold on. I hope y'all caught that out there because she threw it at you. Okay. Now, Miss Cherlnell Lane, can you break down why that is the topic that you chose today?
Well, I rather that come out a little bit as I tell the story. I don't want to,
Yeah.
you know
You
how
don't
I
want to
am
give
as
it
a
to him right up
storyteller.
front.
I don't
Yeah.
want to just be like, oh,
Listen.
wow.
Y'all need
It's
to
a
know that
journey.
everything she does is storytelling, okay? She be like, so the doorbell rang today. All right. All right. And what happened next? I'm getting there. Before the doorbell rang, I got to get the context. Oh, okay. All right. She tells us these stories, okay? This is her life. This is not just a show. This is not a front. This is not only part-time. This is 24/7. Cherlnell
This is
Lane's gonna
why I
tell.
am the poetic storyteller. This is
She's
why.
gonna tell these stories in her way, honey. This is her life. Okay, but I totally understand that you want to drop bars on them as you go. I get that. But before we jump wholeheartedly into this conversation, because it's going to be an amazing conversation, I do want to mention that, of course, this is Black History Month hangout. Okay, or as I like to call it, melanated excellence. Okay, month. All right, celebration. All right, turn up it. Uh, but I also want y'all to know we celebrate Black History 24/7, 365. This is just an extra turn up on top of the turn up. Okay, that's a thing. But just yesterday was what some call Valentine's Day, okay? What I call Black Love Day or Melanated Love Day, okay? Where we celebrate and love ourselves, our beautiful brown skin, the curl and texture of our hair, our beautiful brown babies, beautiful brown man or beautiful brown woman, okay? Especially our beautiful brown ancestors. We love on us, okay? So my question to you, because that's the way I look at February 14th, can you tell me what's important about self-love?
love. And if we do not learn that we are worthy of love ourselves, then we can't properly love others. And if we don't show ourselves love, as in the form of self love, then we won't know what to look for in love. Because I saw this video recently, and it was a skit, and the young man and the woman was in the car, and she said, he asked her something, and she said, "You don't love me." He was like, I do love you. And she was like, "Well, why?" And he was like, "What you mean why?" And she was like, "Why do you love me?" It started off like Poetic Justice, but it wasn't that. And he said, "Oh, because you're beautiful." And she was like, "Okay." And he was like, "Oh, because I like, your personality." And she was like, "What you like about my personality?" Right?
Come on, elaborate, brother.
But then he said some general stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was so basic in general. And she just was like, "Okay." And
How
at
she
the
gonna dig
end,
hard to be okay with that?
and at the end, he said that in the video, she didn't know if he loved her, but she didn't know what he was saying was love, because she didn't know how to love her. And if you don't know how to love you, you don't properly know what love is.
You can't
I'm gonna just
accept
take
or
it there for 1
receive
minute.
or give it.
It's just like sex. I'm just gonna take it there.
Take it there. This is your show. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you don't know what pleasure feels like, then you can't tell anybody else how to give you pleasure. So it's the same thing. Like you have to show yourself love to play around with it, to say, okay, I like this. Now there are some things, of course, you can only do with another person. However, you know what feels good. So that way when you get with another person, whatever relationship it is, and it don't feel like that,
you know how to correct.
You know how to correct. Exactly.
Come on here. Speak a word. Speak all the words. Okay. I think one thing that's really important about the self-love piece is that if you don't love yourself, not only will you not know how to give it or what it looks like, but you won't know how to receive it fully either. So you might run across somebody that's loving you wholeheartedly, but you can't accept it because you don't love yourself.
That is so true. And what else I was going to say is, and for those of you all who have taken my classes, you know this about me. Just because I speak about this and I know what it is, does not mean it's that easy to do, especially when your mind has been trained and your emotions have been trained in a different way. So while I speak this and while I understand what it is, I still need to work on it better myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I think the thing too is it's not a lot of times for most average parents, it's not a priority to necessarily teach their children how to love or what love looks like, self-love or coming from someone else, because especially for melanated people in America or Black or African American, however you want to look at it, we are surviving. So we are making sure our kids got food to eat. We make sure they got the lights on, make sure we can pay the bills, make sure we get to where we're going. We work in multiple jobs. So it's a luxury and not a necessity, but it really is a necessity to teach self-love, even if it's just in passing. You beautiful. I need you to know you're amazing. I need you to know you're intelligent. I need you to know why you're intelligent. Even if it's just small moments that you do have and share with your children, because those children grow up to be adults. And like you just said, when your mind has been programmed a certain way, when you're 30-something years old and you just now like, Dad, hold on, I don't think I fully love me. It's harder. And this is going to take a longer process. to dive deep into that self-love journey. But if you build that up into a child from the beginning, it just helps them on their journey a lot more. And then that it rings true to a whole lot of other things too. But I think self-love is literally the root of a whole lot of problems. Like if we can just teach and practice self-love. So February 14th was yesterday, y'all. So I hope if you were alone, as I'm gonna use my air quotes on that, alone, as far as not having a boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, partner to be with, I hope you come on. I was here too. I was there as well in my bed. Okay. Church paper. I hope you loved on yourself. I hope you loved on yourself. And I think it's very important to remember that, especially around these types of holidays or days that come around. It's a song. Oh, I can't remember the woman's name right now, but she's a Chicago artist. Oh, her name is escaping me. But she has a song that goes, I'm not lonely, I'm alone. And I'm wholly on my own. I think we have to start really adopting that mindset. I'm going to post it in the comments after the show. I'm going to go find it for y'all. I'll post a whole video in the comments for y'all. But Chicago artist, absolutely amazing young woman. But you know what I'm talking about? So that's the name of the song, Holy. But that's the thing is we have to get that mindset. I'm not lonely. I'm alone. I choose to be here. Because, you know, there's other options. But I'd rather be wholly on my own than broke down with somebody else because I'm allowing them in my space when they don't deserve to be in my space.
Her name is Jamila Woods.
Come on, Jamila Woods. Thank you, Cherlnell. Jamila Woods. Okay, so look up that song, and we need to get to that mind space. And then that way, when it's time to really be in a relationship or a partnership with someone else, we're not seeking and searching for validation from them. We already have it from ourselves, and they get to share in that space with us. Eartha Kitt said that. She's like, you got to wholeheartedly love you and just invite somebody in to love you too. And it's going to be the same thing that way. So if we get to that space, we'll be all right. And it's okay being alone sometimes and loving on yourself. And don't let nobody say that's wrong. Whether you loving on yourself in the way Cherlnell Lane just spoke on a few minutes ago. Or if you loving on you mentally, spiritually, physically, all the ways we need to love on ourselves. Okay.
Okay. Miss Natalie B, can I interrupt you 1 second?
You definitely can.
I just want to read a comment that came through by Miss Tatiana Kelly. She says, I want to demonstrate a loving relationship for my children to see. But because I am still learning to love myself and to receive love from others, so it gets hard sometimes. Can I just speak to that 1 second?
Absolutely.
As a mother, I think that a lot of times, as a mother and a child, right? I have been both. I think that a lot of times we want to demonstrate these things perfectly to our kids, right? We want to have it together. We want to be like, okay, this is the way you do this, because we don't want them to fall into the dips and cracks and things that we fell into, right? Mm-hmm. But we have to also remember that, like Tatiana said, we are still learning, we are still growing, we are still adapting, even as our children grow. Just because you have children don't mean you're done, you got it all together.
Absolutely.
So what I would say to parents is the learning process of you evolving and then watching your relationship, your perspective on relationships, all of that, them watching that grow in you, them watching you evolve in that way, will teach them how to evolve in that way.
Absolutely.
Sometimes as parents, we want to give this perfective front, but if we give that perfective front, then we're not teaching our children how to roll with the punches, how to grow from that.
Because and then they're on a search for perfection, and perfection doesn't exist.
Absolutely.
And let them know that, like, sometimes they're gonna fall. They're gonna fall. Sometimes stuff gonna happen. A lot of times stuff gonna happen that you really don't have control over. You just gotta make the most of what you got. And if you don't show them the struggle, then they won't know how to deal with those struggles.
Hey, the late great Aaliyah said, pick yourself up and try again.
Hey. That's a word. I don't know if y'all have caught that tambourine, but that was a word. Okay. Pick yourself up and try again, again. Sis, listen, she said it. Okay, a whole word. But thank you, Tatiana, for telling us your truth, sis. Giving us your words. And I know that reached someone else watching as well. Because it resonates with, I'm pretty sure, every mother out there. We are not perfect in any way, but the fact that we can show our children, even though we're perfect, we're still trying. I think that's a beautiful thing. And then they see it, and then they strive to do just that. Even when they fall short, they're gonna try. Still, they're gonna get up and dust themselves off and try again to be the best them they can be. Because that's what it is every day in childhood and adulthood and elderhood. I don't think it stops at probably ancestry. Okay, and if it stops then, we don't know. All right. But thank you, Tatiana. And thank you, Cherlnell, for your comments on loving yourself, Black love, which is self love, which is the best love, because that's first and foremost. And you have a story about this day we call Valentine's Day, right?
I do. I do. Listen, little children, and gather around while I tell you this tale. In 2003, I know for you millennials,
Were they born or no?
that was before you probably were born, or right, you were 3 or something. But anyway, in 2003, in 2003, in February 13th, 2003, I actually got really sick. It was a weird kind of sick because it wasn't any pain involved. For those of you all who have grown up with me, or know about my clumsiness, then you all know I have stepped off a curb and sprained my ankle. But so I'm used to pain being associated with stuff. This particular time, I just was really, really tired, like super dog tired, and my chest was really heavy, like super heavy. It was like there was a weight pulling me down from the inside. But knowing me, I'm the overachiever. So I got up that morning and I went to school. And I'm on the 28th, Stony Island, for those who don't know. And I'm going to Olive Harvey College. And my friend Michael was on the bus. So Mike was on the bus and we was going to school. By the time we got to school, he had to kind of help me off the bus. And he kind of had to like walk me down to the student center. And we had 2 classes that day. And you all know college classes is not like a high school class, right? They're like hours long. So we had 2 classes that day. And the first one we had separately. And the second one we were in together. So I laid down my head on the table. And it was like 5-10 minutes left to go to the first class. And he said, "Cookie, you not going to class?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm just going to lay here 1 minute, rest my eyes." That's an old person saying for real. That's how I know I'm right. I'm going to rest my eyes. So, so he came back and he kind of woke me up and he was like, "Cookie," and I was like, "Oh, it's time for our class already." He was like, "Both of them classes over." And I could not get up from the table. Like literally, that's how fatigued and tired and heavy I felt. He literally had to carry me on the 28th to my house and into my bed. Okay? And I want to thank him so much for that. Mike Lee, not the baby daddy Mike Lee, but my friend Mike Lee. If this gets back to you, thank you so much for that, because we didn't know it at the time, but you were actually kind of saving my life in a way. So I appreciate you so much. Anywho, So my mom was really upset. She was like, "You need to go to the hospital." I was even more against hospitals then than I am now. I was like, "I'm not going to no emergency room." She's like, "You gotta go." "No, I'm not going to no emergency room." So she kept bugging me, and I said, "Okay, I tell you what. If when I wake up, I am still feeling this way, I will go to the emergency room." She said, "Okay." Woke up the next morning, was feeling worse. Okay. So I said, "Okay, I'm going to go to this emergency room." My mom, good looking out, had already called my auntie. I'm not going to say her name because of the next thing that's going to come out of my mouth. So she came to pick me up. And I had my 2-year-old son with me. So I couldn't make it to the bus yesterday. Today I feel worse, and I got my 2-year-old with me. I don't even have to explain that. So she comes to pick me up and refuses to take me to the hospital because my mom left my son's car seat in her car, which is at her job, which is in the city of Chicago. So I don't understand that thought process. But anyway, so I didn't have a way to get to the hospital. I had another friend who was actually staying with me at the time, and she had friends, right? And one of her friends came to pick her up for school, and she was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna see if he can just take you to the hospital." Let me tell you all something else. I have generalized anxiety disorder to the max. Natalie can attest to the fact that I am not getting in your car. Okay? If I don't know you, I don't think I've gotten in the car with Natalie yet. It's that serious. So I know I was in some kind of way of I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know the dude, ain't seen what he driving, nothing. He came in this putt to the putt. Do you hear me?
Not the putt to the putt.
The putt to the putt. Putt. And she asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll take you, no problem." And we hopped in that putt.
Okay, it was moving.
I held my baby tight. We was both in the seatbelt. Look. And we got there. So I got there. I went to get triage. I was really tachycardia. Like I think my pulse was like 120 something. So that's really fast. My blood pressure was up. But they just sent me back down in the lobby at the University of Chicago. So I was waiting forever and ever. So side note, for those of you all who don't know, the University of Chicago old emergency room, not the new one that they have now. They had, which they probably have it now, but it was totally different. So they have the regular emergency room, which is an emergency room. Then they have what they call fast track. Okay. They still have that in the hospital, but it's totally different. So when you got called to fast track, you went into this little clinic area almost, right? It wasn't urgent care, but it was urgent care. And during this time, they had these little 3 examination rooms, and you would go in there for examinations. But the waiting room was like a mixed match chairs. It was like a love seat, a folding chair. It was like crazy. A lazy boy recliner, just mismatch. And they had the TV up on the wall, like the tube TV up on the wall. And that was the waiting area. So I had Solomon, my 2-year-old, and I'm playing with him, trying to keep him occupied. But he was a good kid, so it wasn't that crazy. And my mom came. So my mom came back, and she came to pick up my son, and we're talking, and if you know my family, we can run our mouths. So me and her are talking, and the nurse comes past, and she says, "Oh, Miss Battles, we want you to get a CAT scan. And I said, why? She was like, well, one of the tests came back and we think you might have a blood clot in your lung. So we need to take you to get a CAT scan. Now, me and my mom is talking so much that this has definitely just slipped through the cracks of our minds. So we kept talking. So about, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes later, I'm like, wait a minute. Did she say that I might have a blood clot in my lung? What? So my mom is like, oh no, she didn't say that. That couldn't have been what she said. So she leaves with Solomon. I go to get the CAT scan. I come back and I find my favorite seat, the recliner. It has opened up. It is right in front of the TV. Wheel of Fortune is on. When I tell you I have been at that hospital all day in these raggedy seats, and I got to sit in that recliner and get all comfortable, pull the thing back, because this was before buttons. So you pull the thing back on and let them feet up and the head go back. As soon as I was like, I hear this. And I'm like, wow, something must have happened. And then they turned the corner and came straight towards me.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like hooking me up to IVs. They were like sticking me for the IV, hooking me up to whatever the bags are on the thing. Mm-hmm. They were checking my eyes and listening to my heart. And it was a nurse. She was taking my blood pressure. No, she was sticking me with I think Lovenox or something like that. And they just was checking me out. And I didn't know what was going on. So I kept saying, what is it? What is happening? And the nurse closest to me, she said, mm-hmm. You have a blood. No, she said, you're not in any pain. And I was like, no. And she was like, you're not in any pain? You're not in any pain? And I was like, no, what is happening? And she said, you have a blood clot. It just passed through your heart. Mm-hmm. And it's in your lung. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. I was in a hospital 2.5 to 3 weeks after that. For them, I was in a hospital like 2 or 3 weeks after that, and trying to get this blood clot to shrink down to a size where I could treat it at home. So, and I love Missy. She said, not before buttons. You're not going to age us like that. I already did it. I'm sorry.
It's out there.
It's out. But yeah, so they were constantly 24 hours a day. I was getting heparin, which is a blood thinner. It's like a really strong blood thinner. I was just in there, right? Every day.
2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. In the hospital. Well, I know it was over 2 weeks, but I don't know if it was yet 3 weeks. But yeah, every day in the hospital. Luckily, they had a marathon of Celebrity Mole on. It was great.
That was your show. Okay.
It was my show then, because what else was I going? Mm-hmm. This is before they had cable in the hospital.
Before cable and buttons.
Exactly. So, so that was the day that I almost died. They said that if I would have waited another day, another couple of hours, I definitely would have died. And my question to them was then, like, so why did I wait so long once I got here?
Because I could have died in your waiting room.
Because I could have been in the fast track and gotten that lazy boy, never got out. So right. the thing was, they said that they saw symptoms when they triaged me, of course. My pulse was really, really high. My blood pressure was high. They said that because of my age, they didn't think that I would be at risk for a blood clot. in my life, which is really what took so long even after I got to the back. Because instead of them looking for what was wrong, seeing the signs and then saying this is what's wrong, they was looking for reasons why that wasn't wrong. Because of my age. Okay. They always, when I say they, doctors, medical field, and no, I don't mean all of anything, because there are good people and negative people in every group. But they say that I have lupus anticoagulant disorder, which is an autoimmune disorder, obviously related to lupus, where your blood has a tendency to clot, right? And you can't be on any like hormonal birth control, definitely no estrogen, and things of that nature, right? So what happened, because I didn't know any of this, which even though I had correlating symptoms of lupus when I was in grammar school with my mother, they refused to test me for lupus because I was a child. And then lupus wasn't known, children wasn't known to have lupus, right?
Because they wasn't testing them.
So again, it's a situation of not this is what it seems like you have, let's test you for this, but let's find out why it's not this, because we don't believe that's what it is.
That's ridiculous.
Exactly. So then this came out like, oh, this is from lupus, and I'm like, so y'all mean to tell me if y'all would have tested me, then I would have known how to conduct myself now in order for this not to have happened. Then they kept asking me, are you on any birth control? Kid you not, a week, one solitary week, 7 days before, I had worn the patch 1 week. You take it off every week. I had literally just took mine off that day.
On the 14th.
On the 14th.
Wow.
1 week. And they said that's what caused it, because of my condition. I shouldn't be on any kind of birth control, and that was
a condition that you didn't know you had.
Exactly, I didn't
because
know
they wouldn't test you for it.
Because they wouldn't test me for it.
Because you was too young.
Because I was too young. I don't know what I was too young for. They thought I was too young for the blood clot. They thought I was too young to have lupus. They think I'm too young for everything.
Clearly, you was too young to be living life out here, because they almost took it.
So, with that, all that being said, I've had a few more close calls with the end, right? And a lot of them have been physical. I've had a lot of ailments, a lot of disabilities. Some of them have even been mental. Some of them have been emotional. You know what I'm saying? There have been a lot of instances. Okay. But what I learned and am learning from these events is that, you know, some people always ask, you know, when something bad happens to you, people usually ask, why me? Right? Why is this happening to you? Some people ask, why me? Why was I saved from this? Why didn't this happen to me? Right? And my thing is that maybe, hear me out. Just maybe you didn't succumb to these things because you've been protected by your purpose.
You better come on here. Please elaborate.
I believe that, and I tell people this all the time, you are where you are whether that be here on this earth, whether that be your best job, whether that be creativity, whether that be whatever. I don't care if you work on a 9 to 5 at JCPenney, whatever. I don't even think they had those anymore. Whatever you're doing right now, you're there because of your purpose. So if that's your dream thing, right? If that's like, why am I being able to do this? Why am I being protected from this, protected from that? That's because you're protected by your purpose.
Mm.
I wasn't meant to perish on February 14, 2003.
Come on.
That wasn't my destiny
Come on.
because I have a purpose. So because I have a purpose that was not yet fulfilled or wasn't completely fulfilled, that protected me during these times of anguish, danger, illness, what have you, right? So that's what I mean by protected by your purpose. I tell people all the time, I say, everybody has a purpose, right? And I even teach this workshop, and it's called Dreaming While Awake.
Okay.
And it's all about finding your purpose. Like in the most, we start off in the most just no hold bars, no boundaries type of way, right? If you could do something that you wanted to do that is also for the betterment of people, right? What would it be? If you can have whatever you have, if money is no object, and I always say no cars, no houses, no jewelry. We're not talking about nothing like that.
Right.
And I get the most amazing responses, right? And then we work from there. One person said she wanted to build a Black community. People said they wanted to start domestic violence shelters. This one young lady said she wants to create a building where children can get mental health services, but not also that there be a second part where there'll be an advocacy team and a political team, and they'll write up bills and laws to try to get them passed for children mental health rights, right? Amazing thing.
Yeah.
Because when you take boundaries away from people feel like they can fulfill what they want to fulfill. It's no boundaries, right?
Right.
So then we break that down into, if you want this, how do you get there, right? Now we're working backwards, right? This is what you want. What do you need to get there? You need a roadmap, right? This is what people usually say, a roadmap. And then I tell them, no, it's not a roadmap. I like using recipes. So I don't use a roadmap. We don't do that in my classes. We do recipes. Why? A roadmap tells you how to get where you're going, right? A recipe not only tells you how to get where you're going, it tells you what you need to get where you're going. It tells you what to use and what step of where you're going to get to the next tier. Okay? It even gives you what to do before you start. You have to preheat the oven before you start anything. You get all of that extra information, which helps you better reach your purpose, better reach your goals, right?
I like that. So, recipe.
Thank you. Writing Through It Workshops, Healing Through It Summit, Cherlnell Lane LLC. All right. Cherlnell Lane, Cherlnell, www.cherlnell.com. You go to linktr.ee/Cherlnell for all my information. And it's in the description. So
and it's also Cherlnell.
And it's
Everywhere.
Cherlnell. And it's Cherlnell everywhere. Should I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Cherlnell. That's Cherlnell. Cherlnell. So yeah. So I just think that I just feel that we have such a power in our purpose.
Absolutely.
We have such a power and such a energy and spirituality connected to our purpose. And sometimes that connection and that purpose drives, right? Even when you don't think it's driving. Okay.
You be like, why did I get into that relationship? Or how did I end up here? Purpose.
And this is what I'm saying. We end up in places that we don't want to be in. That relationship that broke up and it broke your heart, which is understandable because it's a loss and it's a grief. However, it opened you up for this over here.
Come on. Or put you right in alignment or position to make another decision that led you to your purpose. Come on here.
All of it is your purpose. All of it is your purpose. So even in those situations, right? I have been in some bad relationships, right? So even when you're heartbroken in those relationships and you don't want to leave in those relationships, right? I was in an abusive relationship for years and left and came back. And well, I didn't come back, but he came back and all this back and forth because I thought this was it. I didn't want to leave it, right? We know he didn't want to leave it. I mean, but I didn't want to leave it, even though it wasn't for me, right? But what happened was I was forced to leave that situation to better fulfill my purpose. And what happened after me? He never physically put his hands on me, but right after me, his, I'm going to say, mental health declined even further. And he started physically abusing the woman after me. So what happened? I was protected
By your purpose. To get out the gym right at the nick of time.
You always are being protected by your purpose. So Ernestine Battles says, what if you can't see your purpose? That is the beautiful thing about a purpose. You don't necessarily need to know what it is right now. When your purpose is revealed to you, you'll be like, some people fight it. Am I lying, Natalie? Am I lying? You know what I'm saying? Like, some people don't think they're great public speakers.
You ain't lying. But if that's what God put on your heart, and you do that thing to perfection,
the talents, you might be as a public speaker. And that doesn't mean that's your purpose. But if you have a passion for helping,
it may lead you to your purpose.
And that too, because if you have a passion for helping people, let's say you have a passion for helping parents, you have a passion for Natalie will understand this, for blending the gap between elders and the youth, right? And your talent or your creativity is public speaking. You can create a platform.
Come on.
And then speak on that platform
to bridge the gap.
People how to bridge the gap and why they should bridge the gap. And if you have a gift for gab like that, if you ignite inspiration and energy into people, they'll receive what you're saying.
And everybody ain't got that gift. That is not a gift that everybody has.
That's your purpose. And don't think that purposes have to be like this huge, outlandish, I'm on TV speaking to thousands of people type thing. No. If you go by the if you go by foster homes, and you go by hospitals, and you go to each one once a month. Like you go to this one this week, this one that week, but you go to each one once a month, and you have story time with the kids. That could be your purpose, honey.
You just blessed a whole lot of children.
You bless any children. And one of them children sitting in that audience, when you read that black book to them about how it's okay to be me, they grew up to do great things. Because of you, they know that they're perfect just the way they are. That they can strive for greatness because of you. You a nurse. You saved so many lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, in so many ways.
And then also being a parent.
Oh
Because
my
you
God.
never know who you raising. I think a lot of times, for some reason, this is also always baffled me from the beginning of it, historically speaking. When people have children, they feel like their life is over. They got to give up a whole lot of stuff. They feel like they can't live their dreams. And I never understood why that was a narrative, because I never felt that way when I had my son. Actually, most stuff popped off after I had him than before. Like, so, and just parenting your children, even if you're not doing anything else outside of parenting your children, your life is not over. You are raising a human being. You never know who you are raising. You never know. I don't think Martin Luther King's mother fully understood who she was raising. I don't think Obama's mother fully understood who she was. She couldn't have, unless, God just came down and was like, hey, let me put you on game. Like, they don't know who they're raising when they're raising these amazing people. But if your purpose was to mold and create this beautiful being, do that. Because you never know who you are raising. You may be the person that they thanking on the pedestal, or you be the person that they thank God you left their life. We don't know who we're raising. We just got to make sure we give them all we got to be the best that they can be.
Absolutely, absolutely. I also wanted to say this about Miss Ernestine Battles' comment. Sometimes we can't see our purpose, right? And it's not spelled out. It's not like you do this and you like this and put it together and that's your purpose.
And for everybody out there listening, that's not for the most part, that's not a thing. Where it's going to be T's crossed and I's dotted all the way along the way, like this is a leading, like that roadmap to your purpose. As far as I've seen or understand, that is not a thing. It grows over time with figuring out your passions, what you like to do, what inspires you, noticing those things along the way. We'll go right ahead.
So, yes, I wanted to say that you don't always know your purpose, but that's where energy and spirit comes in. Because if you're doing, your intuition will guide you, right? Spirit and energy will guide you. If you're doing something and it's fulfilling that joy inside of you, like how a biblical story, even though but how the story, I think it was John's mother in the Bible, but when the baby was in her and it leaked. Oh no, that's Mary with Horace and in the belly.
Speak on it.
And when John's mother came, the baby leaped in her belly because it was joy, right? When you get that feeling in you and you ain't pregnant, when it's just like joy, and you also feel like you're doing something and it's meaningful.
A lot of times, if you do it for free, you kind of on your way to your purpose.
True that.
Or do it in your free time. Like nobody asks you to do it. You just do it.
And you cultivate it because you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So we have another comment. Ernestine Battle says, To Natalie's comment of we don't know who we are raising, that's what we should think about all the time, because you can be raising somebody that is dynamic.
I think the thing is, all of these babies can be dynamic if we pour that energy into them. If we teach them to live without fear, if we do these exercises like Cherlnell Lane was talking about, I think we need to invest more into our children's mental and spiritual stability early. Taking them to workshops and classes, not just reading, writing, math, but spiritually, mentally, you can do anything and break down these roadblocks so that when they get out into the world, nothing can stop them. It might slow them down a little bit, might throw them in a different direction for a second, but it won't stop them. We have to put that and program that into our children, because life and society is trying to program some other stuff. So if we take every single baby out here and again, like Miss Ernestine saying, come with that mindset, like this is a dynamic human being, this is a dynamic person, then they will be dynamic people. And however dynamic is meant for them. Because like you said, it may not be an athlete, it may not be a famous artist, it may not be a famous actor, it may be a doctor, it may be a lawyer, it may be a dynamic school teacher, it may be a dynamic, but that person will be dynamic and whatever they choose to be dynamic in, if we give that energy to them.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
And we are starting to wind down. It's about 7:04, so we're pushing on our hour. But I would love, Cherlnell, if you could give advice to anyone who's watching out here. I'm going to give a few different options to choose from, but they're really not options. I would like for you to answer all of them.
So answer these questions. Okay.
Answer these questions. I wanted you to make you seem like you had a choice, but go ahead and answer all these questions. One, and some encouraging words that you can leave with the audience on how they can, one, live their life to the fullest. Because one thing that I got from your story is that, and from life in general, it can be over at any time, right? But you being protected by your purpose, as you so eloquently stated, it saved you. But how can we, while we're here in the time that we have, while we're working on our purpose, on our way to our purpose and achieving our purpose, how can we live our best life? Got to be the first one.
Okay. So I think to live your best life is to do what brings you joy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, Cultivate your skills and talents.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should definitely try to get in touch with your spiritual, find out about your energy, um, whatever you practice. Um, I also think that you should definitely do self love. And what I want to elaborate with that self love, which is something we didn't talk about earlier, self love is not always bubble baths and getting your nails done
Come on.
and doing all of that. Sometimes self love is getting a box of tissue in your journal and writing and crying. Sometimes self love is, and this is me speaking to me, y'all.
Come on.
Sometimes you got to speak to yourself. Sometimes self love is not answering the phone. Sometimes self love is realizing when you're overwhelmed and being like, I just need a break.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have anything extra that's hindering you. Living your best life. I got this one right here. And I've been wanting to say this for a long time, but I always forget.
I got you. Let's go.
You do not need to worry about being perceived as lazy, being perceived as unmotivated, being perceived as unproductive.
Mm.
If you have ailments, illnesses, disabilities, what have you, that impair you, no one understands what you are going through, what your body is fighting, what it takes for you to do anything. So you don't owe anything to anybody.
And that
And
goes for people without ailments as
and that's
well.
what I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say, even if you don't have that, it's all of these means. Oh, it's a whole panoramic outside. If you ain't wrote a book, climbed Mount Everest, had 3 kids, sold you a blanket from scratch, if you ain't did all these things by the end of the panoramic,
You
you
talking
ain't
about
did.
pandemic?
No, you know what I'm saying. The panoramic, because it's a whole piece of hut out here, and people ain't acting like you got to be doing 3,000 things. Like, people ain't stressed. People ain't got to teach kids. People ain't got to cook. People ain't got to find out if they going to the grocery store at the right time, so they don't run into no crazy people talking about they ain't putting on no mask.
Yeah.
People don't want to put on mask and a Polaroid out there. What is wrong with people?
Polaroid. People have panorama Polaroid.
I'm just
I understand, but I wholeheartedly agree. I think a lot of the time, especially with the society that we live in, it's so much focus on what other people think. I mean, that's what social media, darn it, is created for, to get people's opinions, right? That's what people think is created for, at least. So I think if we really think about it, somebody gonna always have something to say.
absolutely.
My thing is, your opinion of me is yours. Whether you like me, whether you hate me, whatever you think, you're entitled to your opinion, but that has nothing to do with me, right? And another thing for people who, because this is my next question to you, so this kind of rolls into the question. People who are unsure or afraid to do what they think that their purpose is because they may feel it may be too great, right? Or because these the obstacles, you create that list in your head, like, if I try to do this, then this, but what about the money, but this and that, we create these roadblocks in our own minds, right?
Uh-huh.
What would you say to those people? Because for me,
Oh,
people's opinions is a huge roadblock for other people on their way to their purpose. But it's yours. It's your purpose. It's not your mama's. It's not your daddy's. It's not your grandma's. It's not your friend Kiki. It's nobody's purpose but yours. Them gifts was given to you. That thought, that concept was given to you. That idea was given to you. That seed was planted in you. Right? So with people's opinion being one roadblock, but of course there's a whole lot of other ones. I would say to people out there, specifically on people's opinions, when you're doing something different, somebody gonna always think it's crazy, because most people are sheeps and they only trying to do what everybody else already did. But we ain't done exploring. We ain't done creating. You think the person who tried to build the first airplane, everybody was like, you know what? Groundbreaking. Go ahead, do that, bro. How can I help you? They was like, you crazy than a mug. You think you finna create a machine in the air that can fly? Please. First car, they was like, you done lost it. You finna make a what? This horse and buggy is good enough. You is tripping. Like,
absolutely.
every single time. No, if we could just channel them ancestors up and speak to them, they would not say that it was easy, nor would they say that people even agreed with what they was trying to do, but it became a thing, and we have cars and we have airplanes and all these other things that once upon a time people thought was absolutely bonkers, is because the person whose purpose it was to create it never gave up, and they didn't care. It probably hurts sometimes when your family don't believe in you or what you're trying to do. It probably, hurt when your friends talk about you or leave you. You know what I'm saying? It probably hurt. but they didn't give up because that was their purpose. And so that's what I would want to leave on people's mind, specifically around other people's ideas on the fears. But what would you give with the audience? And that would be my last question. I'll do 2 instead of 3. For people who's afraid or have these roadblocks that are stopping them from their purpose.
I am afraid. I am afraid all of the time. And if you're familiar with my work, you all know I share everything with you guys. And I do that because I feel like that's my purpose. And it didn't always start off like, oh, this is my purpose. It was like, I want to help. I know how it feels. I want others to know what it feels like. I want other people who were like me, who were going through it, thinking they were the only ones. No one understood. I was like, I don't want people to feel like that. So every time I write something, every time I perform, every time, in my mind, I'm going, if one person is touched by this act, if one person learns that they're not alone by this act, if one person understands somebody else's plight because of what I'm doing, then I've done what I'm here to do. That is your purpose. And it don't have to be every time. It can be something happening to somebody next to you. And you're like, this isn't right. Nobody on the bus is getting up for this man cussing out this older woman who he didn't know. Nobody is standing up for that. And you and your soul is like, this isn't right. I wouldn't want nobody doing my grandmother like this. And you say something and a man backs up off that woman, that was your purpose for the day.
Daily purposes. That's a whole nother thing.
Your
it ain't always that big end goal.
It don't have to be a life-altering, life-committed. It could be what your intuition telling you to do. That's your purpose right there. Sometimes I get in my head, I'll hear a song or a song will come in my head, and I'll listen over and over and over again because I know that my purpose at that time has something to do with this song. And most of the times it's because I'm supposed to write something on it. I feel something's inspiration for something. But sometimes it's just inspiration for me. It's just something I needed to hear. And like I've said 60 times in this conversation, a lot of times when I'm talking to you all, when I'm teaching you all, when I'm speaking to you all, when I'm performing to you all, I'm doing it for me. Or I've done it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I know how it made me feel, so I want to help you all feel the same way.
And that's one reason, or one reason why I create. Not even as far as like my poetry or different things like that, because I don't too much do those things anymore consistently. But like creating organizations and institutions, creating spaces and places and events and conversations is because I feel like if I want it and I don't see it, then I know other people are looking for it too. So I might as well go ahead and create it. Right. And so that's why I created Melanated America. That's why I wanted the show. That's why, all of everything. That's the foundation of pretty much everything that I do. I'm like, if I see this void and I'm looking for it, someone else is looking for it too. So I'm going to create it so that other people can have a space and they won't have to seek it anymore. And so whatever it is, do your purpose. Find it. And enjoy the journey of finding it. Because I feel like a lot of times we get so overwhelmed with I got to get there. I got to do this. I got to get this because it got to be this end goal. And it has to be the way that it is in my head. That's not necessarily how God and the universe work. Because we just told you that bad relationship was to help you learn what you needed to learn, that to better yourself, to upgrade yourself, to get to this next level, that leads to your purpose, that door that closed in your face. that internship you didn't get, that was also because the other door was open over there, and that's where you were supposed to go. So even though you really wanted this one, you needed to walk into that one, like, because it's not going to happen the way we want it to happen. It's not going to be flawless. It's not going to be this vision necessarily, because sometimes it can be greater than our vision. That's the thing. That's why we got to give wiggle room for grace for ourselves and work with the universe. One of my sayings is the universe moves and shifts in our favor. The thing is, are we walking and moving with it? Because half the time, you know in your heart, something is like, over here. Don't talk to that person. Don't you get that phone number. Don't you do it. And we do it anyway. That was universe telling you to go that way. But now we didn't went 6 steps that way when we were supposed to be over here. We would have been there already. Because sometimes we're not moving with that instinct, that feeling, that spirit you was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, because we got free will. So sometimes we just take our little detours, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it still teaches us things that we needed to learn, because clearly we weren't prepared to go straight that way. So we had to learn a few things and circle back. You feel me?
Yeah, definitely. Before
Can you
we
give some closing remarks as we get ready to head out?
So before we leave, I want to do 1, 2, 3 things. 3 things. Say 3 things rather. One, I would like to invite everyone to Surviving the Mics open mic on the 4th Sunday, which is the 28th of this month, I believe. Yes, the 28th of this month from 4 to 6. I'll put the link to the Zoom in the chat. Surviving the Mic is an organization started by Nikki Patan, and it was started with sexual abuse survivors in mind. However, the open mic is open to survivors of trauma or surviving anything, as they would say. The pieces that are read or that are allowed to be read does not have to be trauma centered. They don't always have to be about a trauma, but it is an open space for people who have, and they don't always have to be the person who have been a survivor of trauma. It could be a loved one, it could be a friend, it could be whomever. So if you all want to come out, that would be great. We would love to see you there. And like I said, it's an open mic. So if you want to come and read and share, you're definitely welcome. Our feature for Sunday is going to be no other than Sante Harden Tate.
Okay.
Was just a guest, and Miss Natalie B knows well because she is her co-host for Oh We Gonna Talk.
Indeed.
So
On Wednesday nights at 6, y'all check it out. I'm sorry, at 8. Check it out.
Look, she got so many, y'all.
I host a lot of shows, y'all. Most of them
I
try to
don't even
sit.
know what it is.
I feel y'all don't know what Cherlnell Lane them.
So the other thing that I wanted to say was I can't remember. But anyway, the other thing that I wanted to say was my favorite quote, which is by Miss Maya Angelou, which goes straight to my purpose, right? And why I do what I do, and the whole reason why I created Words from the Black Woman's Experience is when a person is going through hell and she sees a person going through another person who has gone through hellish hell and survived, she can say, mine is not so bad as all of that. She got through, and so can I. So that is the quote that inspires me to stay on my purpose, to do the things I am meant to do. It inspired the whole creation of this podcast, the whole creation of my work and what I do, because I just don't want to sleep on my purpose. I don't want to not do what I'm here to do, right? So that's 2. And then number 3 is I know it's Black History Month. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So next Monday, I don't know if you will show. I
You
will
don't know
go
if there
announce
will
that
be a
here.
show?
I don't believe there'll be a show next month.
Okay.
Let me tell you guys why. It's not because I'm slipping. It's not because I don't have a guest. It won't be a show next Monday because I need to show myself self-love.
Come on. That's celebrating
I
Black History Month.
need to take a break. And this will be the way that I do it for Black History. I had to recognize that all of these women that I am trying to uplift, all of these Black women that I am trying to help, like we talked about earlier, that starts with helping myself.
Mhm.
Um, so that's why there will not be an episode next Monday of Word for a Black Woman's Experience, but we will be starting off March 1st. You best believe. Okay. So,
Absolutely.
so my third thing, that was a thing that was a surprise. I didn't know that was coming up, but it came. So my
When it
last
comes,
thing is Black History Month, Black women. We talked about leading a charge for our children, right?
yeah.
And I want to read a piece that I wrote for a little baby girl who her picture has gone all through social media. Very, very deep, deep dark skinned girl.
Mm.
Smooth, beautiful skin, beautiful smile. She had on an orange and yellow, I believe, dress, just laughing and smiling. And I saw her picture and I was like, oh my God, I have to talk to this child, right? And of course, when I say talk to this child, I didn't just mean this child, right?
Right.
Um, so this is called To the Little Girl with Skin the Color of Midnight, sorry. My midnight child, the time when the day both ends and begins, because everything starts and finishes with her. The most powerful being on earth. She is the universe personified.
Mm.
Even in the darkness, she sparkles like the star she is, moving at the speed of light. She can't be stopped, an unbeatable force. Remember this, my midnight child. When someone tries to take your smile, that you are more than a queen. Your earth is the playground. You are the originator. Anything you think of is within your reach. The impossible is in your grasp. It's just waiting for you to command its soul.
Mm.
That's a little piece that I
And that
wrote
speaks perfectly for
for
purpose.
my child. Yeah, yeah. I
Call it
think
forth and it'll be.
yes, yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Cherlnell Lane. Thank you all for being here with us and sharing your story. It's a powerful story. It's a powerful message, and I'm pretty sure some other people out there can relate to it. Thinking it was over or being there where it was almost over, and something pulling you through. It was your purpose. It was you being protected by your purpose and why you were placed here on this earth in the time period that you were placed here. You were meant to do something, right? So we love you. Really quickly again, my name is Natalie Battles. Hey y'all. Miss Natalie B. I also go by. You all can find me on my
All
page,
the links are in the bio.
all the links in the bio. You might have seen A Mother's Love Wednesday at 6 p.m. come across the screen from Ernestine Battles. That is one of the many shows that I host. There go again, boo boo. A Mother's Love is every other Wednesday. It's this week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Also, Wednesdays at 8 is the We Gonna Talk, which I mentioned earlier with Son Tate. There's also the Bree Experience. Yes. Where Cherlnell Lane has been a guest host as well as a guest on the show. It's every Tuesday at 6 p.m. There's also Free Your Mind Fridays.
Free
Free
your
Your Mind
mind.
Fridays. You know it's coming. Fridays on the Healing Academy page every Friday at 6 p.m. I told you most of my shows start at 6 p.m. And then there's some new things actually in the work for Melanated in America coming really soon. So you guys can go ahead, links in the bio, follow the Melanated America page and the Melanated America movement for all that's coming with that greatness as well. I appreciate y'all. Cherlnell Lane, I'm gonna turn it over to you. You got anything else you want to say? You want me to give it back?
Just tune
We can give it back
in
to Mo.
on the first, March 1st, for another episode. With this time we have a very special guest. I'm not even going to tell you who she is because she's special. You're gonna love her. You're gonna love her. But yes, come back with us March 1st. We'll be here with a brand new episode with a brand new guest, and I will be back hosting. Even though my beautiful guest host for today, Miss Natalie Battles, did a wonderful, fantabulous job. I really appreciate her coming through to inquire about me today. And this has been Words from a Black Woman's Experience, a Cherlnell Speaks Volume 1 episode. And I believe what I'm going to do is, the universe, your purpose, it moves. And since this was the 10th episode, every 10th episode will be a Cherlnell Speaks episode. So that is what it is. And Ashe, it is, it shall be, and it will be. All right.
Ashe.
Thank you all for coming. I love you guys so much. You always come in with the comments and the questions, and I love you. Mwah. And I'll see you later. Love you. Peace. That's our peace. And